Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jack, coach of the Wenatchee Wobbuffets, bringing you our Week 4 team builder versus Matt and the Everett Tropius. For this week, I decided to try something a little bit different. As you can see, I am on Showdown, and I do not yet have a team made up. So I was thinking that this week I would try out maybe a live team builder, kind of you guys can kind of see my thought process going into when I team build. If this goes well, I might try to continue doing it. However, this may be a one-time deal, so we'll just see how this goes. So Matt has a very threatening team that consists of Nil Lego, a very fast, very powerful Mon with 103 base speed, 127 base attack, and of course that Beast Boost ability can turn into a very deadly sweeper. A Tapu Bulu, which is a very good mod. It's my personal favorite of the Tapus. Hits very hard in that grassy terrain with Woodhammer and Hornleech. Has some pretty decent bulk as well. Jolteon, which is one of my personal favorite Pokemon, is very fast, very good electric type, a good ability, and Volt Absorb, or possibility of running Quick Feet if he wants to be a little cheeky. A respectable base 110 special attack set as well. A Porygon 2. As you all know, it's a very bulky mon, very difficult to take down if it still is holding that Eviolite. Very respectable defenses. Pretty decent special attack stat as well at base 105. You so it could be a very nice tank. Deal out some good amounts of damage rather than just being a defensive wall. A Mamoswine, which I did have last season. This thing is a huge threat, base 130 base attack stat. Ice Shard is, in my opinion, the best priority in the game. Pretty decent bulk as well, and a great ability in Thick Fat in order to take fire and ice type hits, or Oblivious if he wants to be absolutely certain that he gets those stealth rocks up. Melodic, a bulky water, very bulky with that Marvel scale, has access to recover, good special defense, respectful 100 base special attack stat as well. Haxorus, which is just a huge threat. Base 97 speed isn't the fastest, but it can definitely rip through holes with that base 147 attack stat. Has good coverage options. Can run a Dragon Dance set pretty effectively, or a Choice Scarf set for immediate speed and damage. Crocodile, which is a huge threat to my team. Offensive ground types, both in which he has Mamoswine and Crocodile both, can be pretty deadly for me. And of course, it is a nice dark typing as well, so it can threaten out Doublade, which, as you guys know, I absolutely love Doublade, as well as Mew. It can make a pretty deadly Choice Scarf Moxie Sweeper with base 92 speed and 117 base attack. A good move pool as well, but it also makes a nice defensive pivot with Intimidate and stuff like that. Fortress, a very bulky mon on the defensive side, base 140, physical defense, has the ability to both hazard stack and hazard remove with access to spikes, stealth rocks, and rapid spin. So I think that is a very likely break for him just because it's a very good option for both setting up and removing hazards. Mega Slowbro, a very bulky mon, can be pretty scary with a Calm Mindset since it does have the ability. I'm blanking on the name right now, but basically he can't be critted. So if he sets up a couple Calm Minds, then he is both bulky on the physical and the special side, and very difficult to break down. And a Heracross, just like the Haxorus, can be a very dangerous Choice Scarf Moxie Sweeper, base 125 special attack, has a good move pool as well. Fighting stab along with Bug Stab is a very good combination. So I'm going to click over to this Word document over here, and basically before I go about making my team, I kind of map out first his counters to all of my mons, as you see here. So like Nidoking, I mapped out that the things that can either wall it or directly counter it are Porygon 2, Nihilego, and Haxorus. And generally these are one-on-one scenarios. Obviously, if I have some chip damage, Mamoswine can take me to. Actually, no, I need to add that. See, this is the advantage of talking aloud, is that you can point out little mistakes. Mamoswine is also a good counter Nidoking. So I kind of just map out what are potential walls or direct counters to certain mons. Um, and then once I am done with that, I kind of make his team as I would bring it versus myself. That kind of gives me an idea about what they are likely to bring, and then I can try to counter those while also keeping in mind the other things he might bring. So the way I mapped his team out is Mamoswine 100%. I mean, like I said, Ice Shard is amazing priority. Hits incredibly hard. Lorb over Choiced, either Scarfed or Banded, just because with my team, he would want the ability to change up moves, in my opinion. And then Icicle Crash, because it hits hard, Earthquake. And then either Knock Off or Stealth Rocks, depending on if he wants the coverage or the hazards. The next thing I think he's going to bring is Crocodile, a Scarf Crocodile. Pursuit in order to be able to trap my Mew, which, as you see up here, I kind of mapped it out, and because Mew is so versatile, Crocodile is really the only thing that can reliably 1v1 it, disregarding like some really janky sets. So I really think he's going to bring that because he's going to want to Pursuit Trap it. And then, of course, like I said earlier, good Scarf Moxie set, Knockoff, Earthquake, and then Stone Edge for Zapdos, or Superpower for Licky Licky, depending on which one he thinks is the bigger defensive check to it. He might either bring one of those moves. Jolteon, I think, is also a really good bring for him. It outspeeds everything on my team, barring Choice Scarfers, of course. Hits really hard with Specs, Thunderbolt, and Volt Switch. HP Ice to be able to hit stuff like Shaman and Zapdos, and then Shadow Ball in order to hit Doublade. As I said, I love Jolteon. It's a very great mon. He might bring the Celebrate instead of Specs. However, in this matchup, I think he's really going to want to prefer Jolteon as an offensive check to stuff like Manaphy, Blastoise, Swellow. And I think he's going to want the immediate check rather than having to rely on a turn to set up with the Z Celebrate before actually being able to do anything with it. So I think that's why I think Specs is the better bring for him. I think he's also going to bring the Porygon 2 along with the Fortress, because especially defensive Porygon 2 along with physically defensive Fortress makes a really nice defensive core. Uh, Basically recover Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Shadow Ball. Kind of Ice Beam with the Ice Thunderbolt Bolt Beam coverage. Shadow Ball to be able to hit Doublade again and recover for longevity. He might drop one of the 3 attacking moves for Toxic instead, but I think he's going to want those coverage options. And then Fortress, basically kind of set up either he brings Stealth Rocks or Spikes, or he might choose to Hazard stack Rapid Spin to make sure he keeps hazards off of his side of the field. And then he might bring Gyro Ball for stab coverage, Volt Switch for momentum, or he might try to bring like a Colbur Berry explosion set. So all 3 of those moves are options as well. And then the last mod I think he's going to bring is a Nihilego as kind of a backup sweeper, either sashed in order to guarantee live one of my hits, because I have a lot of mons that can Oko it pretty nicely, such as the Nidoking, or Scarf if he wants to bring like dual Scarfers, which is not too silly on his part because, I mean, dual Scarfers is very scary, in my opinion. And then Sludge Wave, Power Gem, Earth Power, and Thunderbolt gives him nice coverage against my entire team. And then other possible brings, he might bring Tapu Bulu, although personally I'm not too afraid of it. Mostly because like I have a Zapdos that resists the ground stab. I have a Doublade that walls it entirely. I have a Nidoking that can absolutely destroy it along with an Infernape. The only reason I would say he brings the Tapu Bulu is to check Blastoise. Blastoise is the only thing that I can comfortably 1v1, and then it can also 1v1 Manaphy if I'm not already priorly set up. Other than that, Tapu Bulu, in my opinion, doesn't do too much. He might also bring the Melodic if he's particularly fearing the Infernape. Melodic could be a good check to that, as could Mega Slowbro. However, I don't really think the Mega Slowbro is a bring this week, just because I have a lot of good special attackers that can break through it pretty easily. However, that being said, I mean, week 1 I said Rasha was probably not going to bring Quagsire, and he did. Week 2 I thought Chaz wasn't going to bring the Dusknoir, and he did. So I mean, take that with a little grain of salt. Personally, I wouldn't bring the Slowbro to this match, but he may end up just proving me wrong. Then I think Haxorus is also a good bring on his part as well, just because it is so powerful. It is a great wall breaker, and of course, I have a team of walls and tanks. It can also 1v1 the Tyrantrum. Doublade has Poison Jab for Shaman. Can destroy Nidoking and stuff like that. He could also bring Heracross. If he brings Heracross, it's likely going to be instead of the Crocodile, just because they perform somewhat the same roles with that Scarf Moxie set, and Heracross can run coverage from you with the Mega Horn instead of Knockoff. But yeah, so that's the team I think he's going to bring. But other than the Slowbro, in my opinion, I think everything on his team, or I should say, rather than the Slowbro and the Tapu Bulu, I think everything on his team is a pretty likely bring. So let's go into the actual team building of this video. The first mon I know I want to use is a Choice Scarf Infernape. Where to go? There it is. Because it outspeeds everything on his team, barring a Scarf or a Quick Feet Jolteon. And I really think something on his team is going to be scarfed. Either the Mamoswine, or the Crocodile, or the Heracross, or the Haxorus. And all his potential scarfers can put huge holes in my team. So I really want something that can reliably outspeed his scarfers. Oh, and Nihilego. Infernape is faster than Nihilego. So I just want a nice scarfer that can reliably outpace his entire team, barring a jank Jolteon, obviously, and could put in some serious work. So let's see here. Blaze, probably. And Close Combat. Flare Blitz. Close Combat can hit stuff like Mamoswine, like Crocodile, like Nihilego. And then Flare Blitz can hit Heracross, Fortress, Tapu Bulu, stuff like that. Let's see here. How much does... I just want to double check. Infernape, Choice Scarf, level 50, due to Haxorus. Let's say Dragon Dance set. Close Combat does around 60 to 75%. And Tapu Bulu, how much does Flare Blitz do to you? Flare Blitz is a guaranteed OHKO on Tapu Bulu, so that is good to know. Obviously, I think I'm just going to go max speed, max attack, but I just want to know these calcs beforehand. So going into the match, I know roughly what Infernape can and cannot do. Do I need any other coverage? U-turn is a good move. I could go Earthquake to be able to hit Jolteon and Nihilego. What do I do to Nihilego? Let's say Choice Scarf. Close Combat has a low chance to OHKO, so I think Earthquake is a good option to have there, so I can hit the Jolteon and the Nihilego. Let's see here. So coverage for Nihilego, Earthquake, Flare Blitz, Earthquake, Close Combat. How much does Close Combat do to P2? Porygon. Where'd it go? Porygon 2, defensive tank. Close combat does around 60 to 70%. So I do need some chip damage on that before I can reliably take it down. Mamoswine, I got the close combat. Melodic, I think the only coverage Infernape gets from Melodic is Thunder Punch and Grass Knot. Defensive. Thunder Punch. And let's make myself Iron Fist just to see the calc. Yeah, Thunder Punch is a low chance to 2-hit KO after a Leftovers recovery, and then Scald is just wrecks me. So I'm going to put on U-Turn instead of Thunder Punch. Just because against Melodic, I'm not going to want to stay in unless it already has some chip damage anyways. And a close combat does a good amount anyways. Like Thunder Punch barely does more than close combat does. So I'm going to stay Blaze. And that is our Infernape set. Jolly. We got to go max speed to make sure that we outspeed Nihilego. Here we are. Alright, so the next mon we have in our team. So what walls Infernape? P2, we need something to take down P2. And Mega Slowbro. We need something to take down P2 and his water types, which is probably going to be Shaman or Zapdos. How does Shaman fare in this matchup? Shaman doesn't like Nihilego. Can take advantage of Tapu Bulu's grassy terrain, but like I said, I don't think that's a likely bring. Can 1v1 Jolteon. Can it 1v1 Mamoswine? So Shaman. Let's make this a blank set for now. Versus Mamoswine. Physical attacker, Loft Form, Jolly. Let's assume Adamant. And instead of speed, it has bulk. So Icicle Crash is guaranteed OHKO unless I go max physically defensive. How much does Giga Drain do? Giga Drain. Giga Drain does a good amount. Let's do 252 modest. Doesn't quite OHKO though. But then how much do I do to Melodic? Defensive. I don't even 2-hit KO a Melodic. That is not that good. How much for Slowbro? Defensive, Calm Mind. Giga Drain does a lot, but I'm guessing Zapdos probably does more. So Shaman is a possibility, although looking not too great, mostly because of that Mamoswine. I could bring Zapdos, however, Jolteon with a Volt Absorb, have to be on the lookout for that. Let's see here. Zapdos. OU 3 attacks versus Melodic or against Slowbro. Let's not go bulky and instead go offensive. And instead of discharge Thunderbolt just for that extra damage. Thunderbolt has a good chance to kill a Slowbro, Mega Slowbro, and Melodic helps if I can type defensive. Thunderbolt is a good chance to 2-hit KO. But then Zapdos does definitely not live Mamoswine. Zapdos Can check Heracross. Lacking the Stone Edge. Actually, I like Zapdos, I think. So let's go Zapdos. And I don't know about item. Wonder how static does. Could switch in on a Heracross and hopefully get the static. I don't need the pressure, I don't think, because it looks like this isn't going to be a defog Zapdos. Do I want it to be a defog Zapdos? I mean, he does have the potential to hazard Zac with Fortress, but I do have Mew and Blastoise. You know what? Let's come back to Zapdos, kind of map out with the rest of the team, and see if we want it to feel more offensive or a defensive role. So we still need something to take down Porygon. And for Porygon, I don't have a whole lot. Does Doublin learn knockoff? I know Lickalooky does. So the Moon and where's K? It does not learn knockoff, which is a bit of a problem. I think my only knockoff users are Mew and Lickalicky. So let's bring a Mew, because Mew can be pretty good, and I want to bring a Colbur Berry Mew. It helps if I can spell. Super effective Dark type. How much does Mew defensive give you a Colbur Berry do versus a Crocodile? Choice Scarf. Knockoff does about 35% with the Colbur Berry, and that is kind of a balanced defensive set. Then I can Will-O-Wisp it. And then how much does, let's see here, Aura Sphere? Pretty sure Mew gets Aura Sphere. Has a chance to 2-hit KO, and then he's going to outspeed and do a lot. How much does knockoff with no item do? Just about 50%. So for Mew, I think I want Mew to set up hazards. So I want Mew to set up hazards, be a defogger, and spread status. That's a lot for one Mon to do. So we're going to give you defog. Toxic to help wear down that P2. Soft boiled. But then let's see here. What other moves can you learn? A lot. I can do Dazzling Gleam, Dragon Claw, Drain Punch could be fun. Energy Ball, Fire Blast, Focus Blast. Yeah, there's the Aura Sphere. Just wanted to double check that it did get, in fact, get it. Could go Giga Drain, Hone Claws. Could go Leech Life. Plot. Goodness, you get a lot of moves, Mew. Rest, Rock Polish. Ooh. Rock Polish. Sakubatos, Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw. Oh yeah, I wanted to set up Stealth Rocks, but then it's pretty easily taunt baited. Do I think he'll bring a Taunter? What on his team gets taunt? I know Krook does. Haxorus gets taunt. I know that. But will he bring those? Or rather, taunt versions of those? I don't think so. I could have Mew just be a really annoying Mon without even any attacks. But then this Colberry isn't really useful. And what was I going to do? Stealth Rocks. I might change Stealth Rocks for an attacking move because he's not really Stealth Rock weak. I don't think he actually has any Mons that are weak. I'm pretty sure actually every Mon is neutral to Stealth Rocks on his team. He doesn't have any resistance or super effective like Stealth Rock weaknesses, which is kind of interesting. So I may or may not want Stealth Rocks. We'll come back to that. But I still need a good wall breaker, which would be Nidoking. How much does Nidoking do to Porygon 2? Defensive tank versus Nidoking. My form attacker. 50. If I wanted to risk the Focus Blast. It only does 50 to 60%. Oh, goodness. So, Nidoking is not an answer to Porygon 2. However, it is a good answer to Tapu Bulu. Against Mamoswine. How much does Ice Shard do? Ice Shard does a lot. I don't think this is it. The only things I want Nidoking for is the Bulu, because Nihilego outspeeds and can carry Earth Power. Jolteon carries HP Ice, which Specs does a lot. Mamoswine does a lot. Porygon beats it 1v1. Unless I got 2 Focus Blast hits and I don't have any previous damage. Melodic can probably 1v1 it. Defensive, level 50 with T-Bolt. Thunderbolt. Yeah, it has a 3.5 chance to 2-hit KO. And that's not even fully specially defensive. And Scald is a guaranteed. Haxorus can destroy it. Krookodile destroys it. It could be good for Fortress. And Slowbro, but everything else I don't like. Yeah, I don't like Nidoking in this matchup. I could bring a Doublade. Doublade, Walls Bulu. Can 1v1 in Nihilego probably. Blade versus Nihilego. Choice Scarf. Iron Head destroys it. And Earth Power does 60 to 70%. Let's say on the off chance he's Choice Specs. Earth Power has a chance to OHKO. But Doublade Walls Bulu. Doesn't like Mamoswine. I don't like Doublade in this matchup either, though. So no Doublade. How does Blastoise? Could bring Blastoise. Can 1v1 Nihilego. Doesn't like Tapu Bulu. Doesn't like Jolteon. Can probably 1v1 Porygon. Let's see how much does Aura Sphere. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Get back up there. Blastoise. Showdown usage. Versus Porygon. defensive tank. Aura Sphere, that's modest max special attack. If I brought Blastoise, I would probably want to run it timid in max speed to make sure I outspeed the Bulu. I don't outspeed a Jolly Mamoswine max speed, but I can outrun Adamant or a bulky Mamoswine. I don't outspeed Heracross. We can run Blastoise. That would make it so I have all 3 hazard removers on my team, and you wouldn't be sure which is meant to remove. He could be more threatened of Mew that way. Let's try it on the team, and I can always take it off Rain Dish because Torrent is useless prior to Mega Evolving. And we want Scald probably for the burn chance. We want Aura Sphere. Dark Pulse for the Slowbro. What other coverage do we need? Scald, Ice Beam, Team Builder, and Ice Beam. And I'm going to run a bulky, but with some speedy Vs to outspeed a bulky Mamoswine. Because chances are if he's running speed on his Mamoswine, it's probably going to be Jolly, and then I won't be able to outspeed. So let's go to Team Builder, Blastoise, Mamoswine. And Adamant. You're at base 100. So 20 speed EVs allows me to outspeed that. Let's give it a couple extra. Just to make sure if he dumps just the extra 4 into speed. So that's 36. 36. And then I can run 252 modest. And the rest in bulk. How much does Mamoswine do to me? Scald is a guaranteed OHKO, so not even an issue. And that's Adamant, which we have determined I outspeed, and Jolly does even less. Oh, I should probably calc for a bulky Mamoswine though. Scald is still a guaranteed OHKO. And then for Slowbro, done. Crocodile, I can probably take a hit from. Choice Scarf. Earthquake does around 40% and Scald is an OHKO. P2, we determined is a chance for a 2-hit KO. Tapu Bulu. Let's go Choice Band. And instead of Rapid Spin, I have Ice Beam. Ice Beam does a lot to Tapu Bulu. Of course, Woodhammer annihilates me. So that's if he's running speed investment. And the Lego, I can eat a hit from probably. Let go. Choice Scarf. He's probably gonna run Thunderbolt. Nope, not Thunder. Thunderbolt. Which is a good chance to 2-hit KO, but I can hit it back pretty hard with Scald. Alright, so that's our Blastoise. We need 2 more Mons on the team. I need a good defensive switch in. I already determined I don't like Doublade in the matchup. Don't like Shaman either. I could bring Lickilicky, which is basically my only other option. The only ones that can really break through it are Tapu Bulu and Heracross. So let's bring Lickilicky. Give it some lefties. Oblivious, so I don't get taunted. Wish support, that can help keep our Blastoise nice and healthy. Wish, protect, toxic. Does he have a lot of... Do I need Heal Bell? That could set up toxic spikes, but then that's not really going to help. P2 can set up toxics. I'm not going to bring the Heal Bell this week, I don't think. And I could bring Knockoff. Could bring Explosion, just for some cheekiness. Let's bring Knockoff, just for some nice utility. And we'll make you mixed defenses or physically defensive. Let's see here. He has a lot of physical threats, so I think I'm going to go physically defensive. So basically the same Lickilicky that I brought versus Rasha, minus the Heal Bell. And then I could bring Manaphy. The problem is he has a Jolteon that can pretty freely come in. Do I have a good Jolteon counter? I have Infernape. That's really it. Oh, I need a good Jolteon counter. Which could be Shaman. Could be Tyrantrum. Scarf Tyrantrum could be fun, actually. Let's see here. Let's do some calcs about Scarf Tyrantrum. Are you Choice Scarf? Of course, annihilates no Lego. It will Jolly at max speed will outspeed Jolteon because I know it outspeeds a Crobat with the Scarf, and they're the same speed. And Jolteon is definitely not taking an Earthquake. Let's see, Haxorus. Let's assume a Dragon Dance set. I'll probably go Dragon Claw rather than Outrage, which has a good chance to OHKO. If I have Stealth Rocks, it definitely will. Of course, if he's Scarfed in turn or is already at +1, I cannot take a hit. Let's see here. We can do... How much do I do to a Tapu Bulu? Windhammer annihilates me. Head Smash does around 80%. That's good damage. What else? Crocodile can probably eat a hit. Head Smash does 30%. So, why do I have? Does Tyrantrum get any neat coverage? I'm pretty sure it gets Iron Head. Bite, Crunch, Dig, Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail, Head Smash, Horn Drill, Ice Fang. Yeah, there's the Iron Head. But Head Smash, like Stab Head Smash, does more than Iron Head anyways. I don't get any poison cover. I do get Poison Fang. How much does Poison Fang do to a Tapu Bulu? Banded 50. Poison Fang. It still does less than Head Smash. That's roughly what I expected. Let's see here. Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, Superpower. I could bring Superpower for the P2. Superpower against Porygon 2. Defensive. Superpower doesn't do a whole lot. But I kind of like Scarf Tyrantrum. What does he have to switch in to a Head Smash? Like I said, nothing resists or is weak to rocks. So although I'm not going to be hitting anything for super effective with Head Smash, nothing can really switch in on it. Which I really like. How much does Mamoswine do? Head Smash, almost Oko's, does 80 to 95%. Ice Shard does over 50 to me, but he can't switch in on it, which is the point. So as long as I get Tyrantrum in for free, but the Crocodile is a good switch in. So I was wrong actually. He does have 1 rock resistance, so I really need to make sure Crocodile is weakened before I bring in Tyrantrum. What do I have to weaken Crocodile? Blastoise. If he's Scarf, then I can pretty reliably shuffle around. If he's locked into EQ, I can go into Zapdos. If he's locked into Knockoff, I can go into Blastoise. Locked into Superpower, I can go into Zapdos. So pretty reliably switch around, although I really have to play carefully around the Crocodile. So I ask again, do I want to bring Scarf Tyrantrum? I could just as easily bring Banded and make it even that he has even less switch-ins. But no, I really need something to counter the Jolteon, which is either Shaman or Tyrantrum. Let's look at Tyrantrum. Scarf. So now I have dual Scarfers. And Head Smash, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Superpower. Oh, gotta make sure all these are level 50. Gotta remember to come back to the Mew and Zapdos. I do like the bringing all 3, because then he's unsure which of them, if not all of them or 2 of them, are the hazard removal. So then he has to be careful about when and how he sets up his hazards. How reliable is Lickilicky to a Jolteon switch in? 252, 252, Impish, 4 versus Jolteon. Are you all out? And Specs. Nope. Choice Specs. And 50. 50. Thunderbolt. Lefties. Has a chance to hit KO, which is not the most reliable switch in. So let's modify our set a little bit. 152. Getting close. Oh, we hit it. So at 164 EVs, 136 defense, Thunderbolt is never a 2-hit KO, even without my lefties. So then we got to take that away from our defenses, which is actually, hold on, let's make this, what is it? Careful. Yeah, I believe it's careful. So careful with 68 EVs. Uh, 68. Careful. And 188 defense. Allows me to take 2 Thunderbolts from Jolteon. I can knock it off. Wish, Shenanigans. So there we have at least a semi-comfortable switch into Choice Specs Thunderbolt. So the name of this game basically is get an Infernape for free and click a button. Either Close Combat, Flare Blitz, Earthquake, U-Turn. So Wish is going to help keep Blastoise and Infernape, possibly Tyrantrum, nice and healthy. Toxic is for the Porygon 2. So I don't think I need Toxic on the Mew. So what else could I do? I could do U-Turn. I could do Drain Punch. Let's see your Acrobatics, Tail Avalanche. Dark Pulse, Dazzling Gleam. Drill Run. Focus Blast, Foul Play, Frustration, Gunk Shot. Doesn't have any fairies really. Knockoff, Low Kick. I really don't know. I could run Roost and Soft Boiled for the ultimate PP recovery. I really want this to help to be able to take a hit from Crocodile. So that means being able to do something in return, which probably means Giga Drain, right? Or Drain Punch, which does more. They do the same. So let's do Giga Drain because it also hits as water types. Make this just a super annoying Mew. Giga Drain, Soft Boil, lefties. And then go to Crocodile. Crocodile, Choice Scarf. Level 50 versus Mew. Blank set. So with an item, I need to make sure that knockoff does not kill. So just max HP does that. Let's go Giga Drain. Let's make it so Giga Drain is a guaranteed 2-hit KO. 120. Guaranteed to a KO on an offensive Crocodile, I should say. So it looks like I need 108 special attack EVs. And then we can go bold. And what is that? 256 minus 108 is 148. Yeah. And then knockoff does around 60 to 70%. Giga Drain. And then without the lefties, knockoff. So I think with the Giga Drain recovery, knockoff is not a 2-hit KO as long as I'm at full HP. So what was that? 252. And then 108, 148, bold. So then I got my hazards. I have hazard removal. I have annoyingness. And if he brings Tapu Bulu, that just means Giga Drain does even more. It can take on Mamoswine, Melodic, Mega Slowbro, Crocodile. It's not a one-size-fit-all, but I think that is the Mew I'm going to go with. And then Zapdos is now freed up to be offensive. I could run a choice spec Zapdos, but then I have 3 choice locked mons. Let's do Expert Belt. We can do Static. And let's do Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Heat Wave, and what else? So that gets hit by Thunderbolt, by Heat Wave, Yeah. Mamoswine, even though it has thick fat, since it's still counted as a super effective move, that means Heat Wave does a little bit more. Melodic gets hit. Haxorus gets hit. Crocodile gets hit. Or does not get hit, actually. Fortress by Heat Wave. Slowbro by... Alright, so... Looks like I need HP Ice for the Crocodile and the Haxorus. Hidden Power Ice. And now let's do some calcs with Expert Belt Zapdos. Blank set. 252. 252. We're going... Where'd it go? Timid with an Expert Belt. And with Thunderbolt. Do I want the Volt Switch? I could go for Roost instead, which sounds rather nice. For some nice longevity. Where was I? There I was. Thunderbolt, Heat Wave, and Ice. Set this to level 50. Against Crocodile, HP Ice does around 60 to 70%. Stone Edge doesn't even OHKO me, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, if he's not scarfed, then I outspeed. If he is scarfed, then I can just go into another mon to eat the Stone Edge. Of course, after a Stone Edge, I will likely not be able to come back in if rocks are up, which is something to keep in mind. Let's see. We never calc. Oh, goodness, can I type please? For offensive expert belt. Thunderbolt. That's a good amount to melodic. Um, goodness, melodic is so bulky. Against Slowbro. Thunderbolt is a guaranteed Oko against Haxorus. His only moves to hit me with Haxorus are contact moves, so he has a chance at static, and then HP Ice does a good amount to him. Yeah, so I really like this Zapdos set. I think it does a lot against this team. So it looks like this is my team. I'm not too confident about the Tyrantrum pick though, although let's see here. Manaphy could be possible, except Jolteon is just such a huge threat, and I know he loves his Jolteon and he plays it super well, so if he sees the Manaphy, there's no way he's going to let it go down. So that means there's always a Manaphy counter. I have Infernape, have Zapdos. I don't like the Nidoking matchup. Swellow, he has a lot of bulky mons and Ice Shard on Mamoswine. Just a lot of mons that can take the Boom Burst pretty well, so I don't like that. Have the Mew. Shaman we discussed. Doublade we discussed, and then I have Tyrantrum and Lickilicky. So I definitely don't have complete answers to all of his team, like the Porygon or the Crocodile. For those, I'm just going to have to rely on good plays as well as chip damage. So looks like with this team, get in with Infernape for free. Either U-turn or fire off some big damage and kill something. And then rely on Zapdos and Tyrantrum to get those chip damage kills. Blastoise to both kind of be our tank, and Mew and Lickilicky as our support mons. This will be an interesting match. If he brings, well, he's got to bring Crocodile. If he brings Crocodile and Jolteon and Melodic, I really hope he doesn't bring the Melodic, but the more I talk about it, the more likely he is going to bring it. If he brought the Melodic, I could see him bringing it over either the Fortress or the Porygon 2, just because like 3 bulky semi-passive-ish mons is a little too much for him, I think. So if he brings Melodic over Porygon 2, that'd be really nice. If he brings it over Fortress, that'd be kind of nice, because then I know he likely doesn't have any hazards, and he definitely doesn't have any hazard removal, which means Stealth Rocks are up to stay. Stealth Rocks, although like I said, aren't hugely useful, like they don't score any huge chip damage on anything. Through those calcs, it looks like they are pretty necessary to guarantee some kills on some mons. So getting those rocks up are going to be pretty important. But yeah, looks like this is going to be our team, guys. Let's get our nicknames in here. Jack the Infernape, Jupiter, the Zapdos. Mew, of course, cannot be nicknamed. Fat Man, the Blastoise, Tootsie, the Lickilicky, and Lemmy Smash, the Tyrantrum. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like I said, this is kind of just like a test run. There's no promises that I'm going to continue doing these live team builders, but we'll just see how this one goes. And I look forward to this match, and I look forward to the rest of the season. Thanks a lot, guys.